Love Judy.
I'm Jessica Dupart. A lot of people know me as Judy. I am the owner of Kaleidoscope Hair Products. To date, the company's probably made close to $40 million. Also birthed Kaleidoscope Realty, Kaleidoscope Management, Kaleidoscope Cares, Kaleidoscope Shipping and Receiving. Yeah, all of that.
The moment DA Brat walked onto the stage, she knew this moment would change everything. For years, she had kept silent about the struggles in her relationship with Judy, but today, she was ready to expose the truth. The truth about Judy's financial problems, the truth about how they had slowly and painfully affected their relationship, and ultimately, how it had led to their breakup. DA Brat had spent too much time trying to keep up the image of a perfect couple, but now, with her voice trembling but steady, she was ready to reveal the cracks in their foundation. "I never wanted to do this," DA Brat confessed, her eyes filled with pain. "But sometimes, the truth has to come out. Judy's financial struggles have torn us apart, and it's time the world knew why." DA Brat took a deep breath, her hands shaking as she began to share the reality of Judy's financial situation. Judy had problems. Big problems. She was always struggling with money, and I was the one who had to carry the weight, DA Brat said, her voice cracking. "At first, I tried to help, tried to be supportive, but it kept getting worse. It wasn't just about paying the bills. It was about the lies, the constant excuses, and the denial. Judy couldn't manage her money, and it was destroying everything."
I'm the Brat, the first female rapper to ever sell 1 million records. I'm out the closet, living out loud with my baby, doing whatever the I want to do because I love you.
The emotional burden of carrying not only the relationship but also the financial stability of the household was evident in DA Brat's words. "She was a deadbeat, and I didn't want to say it, but that's the truth. I kept making excuses for her, but at the end of the day, I was the one left picking up the pieces," DA Brat revealed. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily on DA Brat as she shared how Judy's irresponsibility had started to seep into every part of their life. "I started to feel like I was drowning. No matter how much I did, it was never enough. I was financially stable, but I couldn't do it alone anymore." DA Brat's sister had always warned her about Judy, but DA Brat was too deeply in love to listen. Over time, though, DA Brat began to see the cracks. "At first, I thought it was just a rough patch, a temporary setback," DA Brat shared. "But over time, I started noticing that no matter how many chances I gave her, Judy kept making the same financial mistakes." The weight of Judy's financial irresponsibility began to affect every part of their relationship. It wasn't just about the money, it was about trust. Every time Judy said she was going to fix things, I was left in the same position, bailing her out, cleaning up the mess, DA Brat continued, her frustration evident. "I started to question if she was ever going to take responsibility for herself. I was tired of being the one who had to make things right. I couldn't keep doing this anymore." Judy's actions, or lack thereof, not only put a strain on their finances but also on DA Brat's mental health. It wasn't just the financial burden, it was the emotional toll of always trying to fix what Judy couldn't. "I felt like I was losing myself," DA Brat shared, her voice quiet with reflection. As Judy's financial problems continued to escalate, DA Brat found herself in a constant state of stress. "I'd come home, excited about a new project, a new opportunity, and instead of being able to celebrate, I was thinking about how to make sure Judy didn't ruin it all," DA Brat said, a hint of bitterness creeping into her voice. "She wasn't just irresponsible, she was reckless. And I kept hoping things would get better, but they never did. I had to constantly pick up the pieces, constantly apologize to people who were affected by Judy's inability to manage money." The emotional strain of always being the one to hold everything together started to chip away at DA Brat's spirit. "It was exhausting. I would spend my days working hard, and my nights worrying about how I was going to fix things. It started affecting everything, even my creativity and my career," DA Brat continued. "The damage wasn't just personal, it was professional too. I had to cancel business meetings, turn down collaborations, because Judy's financial issues were spilling over into my work life," DA Brat explained. "I couldn't focus on my career when I was constantly dealing with someone else's problems. And it wasn't just once or twice, it was over and over again." The tipping point for DA Brat came one night, a night that would change everything. It was the moment when she finally realized that Judy wasn't going to change, no matter how much she wished otherwise. DA Brat had been carrying the weight of Judy's actions for far too long, and the reality of it all hit her in a way she couldn't ignore. It hit me one night when I had to cover another one of Judy's debts, and that was it. I was done. DA Brat shared, shaking her head as she recalled the devastating moment. The frustration, anger, and heartbreak that had been building up over time finally came to a head. I was angry, heartbroken, and defeated all at once, DA Brat continued, the emotion in her voice reflecting the overwhelming nature of what she had endured. In that instant, she understood that she had been carrying a burden that wasn't hers to carry, and she couldn't do it anymore. For years, DA Brat had tried to help Judy, to be the support she needed, but in doing so, she had neglected her own well-being. The debts, the mistakes, the constant cleaning up of Judy's messes had worn her down emotionally, mentally, and financially. I had been carrying this burden for so long, and I realized I couldn't do it anymore, DA Brat confessed. The tipping point was the final straw, a moment of clarity that revealed just how much she had been sacrificing for a relationship that wasn't giving her anything in return. The frustration of constantly bailing Judy out, both literally and figuratively, had reached its peak, and DA Brat realized that Judy wasn't going to take responsibility for her actions. Judy wasn't going to take responsibility for her actions, and I couldn't keep cleaning up the mess, DA Brat said, her voice breaking as she remembered the anguish of realizing that this situation had become untenable. What hurt DA Brat the most wasn't just the financial strain that Judy had placed on her, it was the emotional toll of seeing how little Judy understood the extent of her actions. It wasn't just the money, it was the fact that she couldn't see how much she was hurting me, DA Brat continued, her eyes downcast as she reflected on the years of pain that had built up. How much she was hurting everything we had built together. The emotional weight of the situation was crushing, and for the first time, DA Brat understood that it wasn't just the financial mess that needed fixing, it was the deep emotional disconnect between them. Judy's actions had left DA Brat feeling unsupported and unloved, and in that moment, DA Brat knew that she had to make a change for her own sake. That night, I finally understood that I had to take control of my life again. I had to let go of Judy, not just for my career, but for my peace of mind, DA Brat said, her voice filled with sadness but also a sense of clarity. The decision was one of the hardest things DA Brat had ever faced. Letting go of someone she had loved, someone she had invested so much into, felt like losing a part of herself. But deep down, DA Brat knew it was the only way forward. She couldn't continue to sacrifice her own happiness for the sake of someone who wasn't willing to change. The weight of the relationship had become too much, and DA Brat understood that she had to prioritize her own well-being above all else. When DA Brat finally confronted Judy about the financial issues that had been eating away at her, the conversation was painful and eye-opening. Judy was left speechless, unable to fully grasp the extent of how much her actions had hurt DA Brat. She was shocked at first. She didn't realize how much it had affected me, how much it had hurt our relationship, DA Brat recalled, her voice reflecting the disappointment she felt. Judy's reaction was one of surprise, but it didn't change the reality of the situation. DA Brat had been clear about her feelings for so long, yet Judy's failure to see the damage she had caused made everything feel even more isolating. She cried, apologized, and promised things would change, but it was too late. The damage was already done, DA Brat continued. Judy's tears, while genuine, didn't change the facts. The years of financial irresponsibility, the constant emotional turmoil, and the lack of accountability had created a rift that couldn't be bridged. Judy promised to do better, but DA Brat had heard it all before. She said she would try to do better, but her actions didn't match her words, DA Brat shared, a sadness in her voice. The promises meant little when they weren't backed up by action, and DA Brat had come to the painful conclusion that Judy wasn't going to change in the way she needed her to. I realized in that moment that Judy wasn't going to change, not in the way I needed her to. She wasn't going to step up and take responsibility for the things she'd done, DA Brat said, her voice heavy with the weight of the realization. Judy's apology was hollow in the face of all the pain she had caused. It was clear that no matter how much Judy cried or promised to do better, the damage was done, and DA Brat couldn't keep living in a relationship that lacked trust and accountability. And that's when I knew I couldn't continue, DA Brat shared, the finality in her words marking the moment she knew her path forward lay in letting go. Judy's tears didn't change the truth. DA Brat had faced the painful reality that she could no longer wait for someone to change when they weren't even trying. The truth was that I had to walk away. I couldn't keep waiting for someone to change when they weren't even trying, DA Brat said, the strength in her voice signaling that she had made the difficult but necessary decision to move on. It was a heart-wrenching choice, but one that was ultimately about reclaiming her life and her peace of mind. DA Brat had finally let go, not just of Judy, but of the toxic cycle that had kept her from fully embracing her own happiness. DA Brat's revelation about Judy's financial struggles sent shockwaves through social media. Fans were quick to rally behind DA Brat, expressing their support and admiration for her strength in exposing the truth. "I can't believe DA Brat had to go through all of that," one fan commented. "She deserves someone who will support her, not drag her down." Others expressed their frustration with Judy, calling her out for her irresponsibility. "If you can't handle your own finances, how can you handle a relationship?" another fan tweeted. Celebrities also chimed in, offering their support for DA Brat and condemning Judy's actions. "DA Brat is stronger than anyone realizes," one celebrity posted. "She deserves respect, and I'm glad she's speaking out." The public's response was overwhelming, with most fans rallying around DA Brat and supporting her decision to walk away from Judy. Now that the truth is out, DA Brat is focused on moving forward. "I'm done with the past," DA Brat said, her voice strong with resolve. "I've been through so much, and I'm not going to let it define me. I'm ready to take back control of my life and my career." DA Brat is making a conscious effort to rebuild her career, focusing on new projects and reconnecting with her professional goals. "This chapter has been tough, but it's time for a new beginning," DA Brat shared, a hopeful look in her eyes. "I'm learning to trust again, and I'm excited for what comes next." If DA Brat's story resonated with you, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about DA Brat's strength and her decision to expose the truth? We'd love to hear from you.